Welcome to today's video where I'm going to show you guys how to navigate while on foot. Navigating while on foot is typically reserved for shorter distances, but if you have no other options or if you can't find a vehicle, you can also navigate long distances while on foot. It's not recommended. I prefer to get into a vehicle because I've played enough DayZ to not want to have to run across this entire map. But there are people that enjoy the journey rather than the destination, so today I'm going to show you guys how to get to where you're going on foot. Now the first thing you want to make a note of is your deployment position. I spawned here at Montagnac at Maine. Your deployment position should always show up as a circle with this little arrow on it, this yellow marking here. So if you didn't spawn where you thought you spawned, you can always look for that and see where you did actually spawn. Now with that in mind, the next thing you need to find is your destination, so where you're going. Now just to make full worth of this video, I'm going to move all the way down to Coastal Base Morton here and utilize my landmarks and roads along the way to get me to where I'm going. Now aside from just landmarks, something that's going to be extremely useful when navigating through all mediums is going to be a compass. Now if you want to just travel as a crow flies, you can use a protractor and your compass to find the exact degree that you need to be going in order to get you to where you're going. And so right off the bat, I'm going to show you guys how to do that just in case you don't want to travel by landmarks. So with my current position being Montagnac and my destination being Coastal Base Morton, what you can do is you can come over here and pull out your protractor. With your protractor out, you're going to want to place the center of it directly on your destination. With your protractor directly on the center of your destination, you're now going to want to pull out your pen. Now with your pen out, what you're going to want to do is go to your location, start your line there, and go all the way down and through the back of your protractor, making sure that line crosses right through the center of your protractor. My line looks like this, but yours might look different depending on where you are. Now with this line placed, you're going to want to zoom in on the very opposite side of your protractor. And right where this line goes through, 186, that's going to be the degree you need to run to go as a crow flies to Coastal Base Morton. Or if it's a different location for you, your destination. Now again, 186. Oh, correction, 184. I read it backwards. But either way, 184 from my current position will get me directly through Coastal Base Morton. So let's go back here, pull out my compass, and look for 184. 185, 184-ish. There we go. So if I keep running in that direction, I'm going to make it to Coastal Base Morton. Now let's say you don't want to do all the fancy smancy protractor encompassing and line drawing. What I would recommend to do is first, as always, make a note of your current position or your deployment position. The next thing you're going to want to do is look at where your destination correlates to your current location. So in my situation, Coastal Base Morton is basically directly south and just a little bit west of Maine here, of Montagnac. Now with that, I would say pull out your compass, orient yourself with south, and just start heading south. Now before you fully get moving, what you can do is make a note of all the landmarks you should see along your route, but I typically like to check up on them once I get through to say, okay, I'm crossing the first road, second road, there's a lake here I can use as a landmark, there's the town of Fagari I could use as a landmark, there's a supply point here, the more roads, and you can also use the forests and the outskirts of them to navigate, but let's just get moving. Now don't feel afraid to pull out your compass at any time and make sure you're still on track with where you're going, because, you know, you'd rather not be lost. Now this is a good point to take a look at your landmarks because I've got some elevation and I can see a decent bit around me. So what I'm going to do is pull out my map and see what I see and what I'm seeing on the map. So from here I can see a town over there to my southeast. I can see a town a little bit more southeast, more south than southeast. And I can see a little farm just a little bit west of south. And that all correlates with what I'm seeing here. So I see Provence, I see Figari, and I see these set of buildings just to my south-southwest. I'm going to keep on heading south and see what else I can see along the way. So as I get to here, I can see the lake over there, so I know I'm heading in the right direction. Aside from the lake, there's also a paved road coming across here. And if I really wanted to get super specific, I could say there's a paved road and a forest just on my right. So then I can look here and say, oh, here's paved road, forest. I should be like right about here. I'm going to keep running south and keep making notes of things I'm seeing that are telling me where I am. Now, if you don't want to travel directly in a cardinal direction until you can see it, you can follow paved roads and dirt roads. Dirt roads are a little bit harder to follow because they can split quite a bit and they're a little bit harder to see. But if you are going to be using roads to navigate, keep in mind there's going to be AI and possibly enemy players along those roads. So I'm seeing this AI, and yes, I could take both of them and whoever else is there when it comes to AI, but I'm just going to keep traveling south instead of following the road. And again, do not be afraid to take out your compass. Typically when I'm driving, I always have my compass out to make sure that I'm going in the right general direction. But my driving tips are going to all come when I do a video on how to navigate while driving. Navigating while on foot is basically always knowing your general location rather than your exact location. But there are times where you might need to know your exact location when traveling. But knowing my general location is I know I'm north of this road because I'm traveling south, and right when I hit this road, I can say this is a one-lane road that's going east to west, so I'm like right here-ish. Yeah, I'm probably right about right there. If I were to get really specific, I'd be 051063, top half of it. But I'm going to keep on moving because I don't need to know my exact location. I just need to know my general location. Another landmark you can keep an eye on while you're traversing on foot is power lines. And this is a big power line. Those are the massive ones that have a whole crap ton of lines on them. So I could say I was just here. I'm still going directly south, so I'm probably right here. Which means I've got a dirt road. I'm going to cross that twice, and I'm going to be going directly towards the Figari objective here. Now keep in mind, if you do run across something you don't want to get to, like if it's enemy or AI controlled bases or just something you want to avoid, it's best to travel in another cardinal direction until you can see a landmark, and then you can go back, continue south again. You can go southwest and then once you hit here, go direct south, but if you're a real rookie at navigating, just stick to cardinal directions, which are north, south, east, and west. So so I know where I am now. I'm just going to pull out my compass, make sure I'm going south, and continue south. And that little pond should be marked on the map as well, so if you wanted to keep track of where you are, you could say, okay, I'm right next to that pond. So now that I get to here, I can see the outskirts of Figari, and I can see some AI players there. So I'm going to adjust southwest and avoid it for now. Now again, if I was playing by myself, I would take on that base, but this is not the purpose of the mission. This is just for navigation. And let's say you're bored of walking and you want to call in for a heli pickup on that helicopter I just saw. You can always look on my other video that I posted on how to find your exact location with a compass and protractor. And you can use that tip and those features to find your exact location, and you could call out over 48 to get him to pick you up where you're at. If you're calling for heli pickup, always use XY coordinates. Ooh. Am I running right into Fagari right now? No, I should be good. This is the supply depot, and supply depots also have AI controlled characters here. But I'm gonna hope they don't see me. So since I'm at this supply point, I'm actually gonna take a mark. Sweet. I'm right here, so I can continue back straight south again. And I'm going to sprint because I don't want them to kill me. Oh yeah, I'm under fire. So another thing you could use while navigating is that river there. I'm not going to take a minute to look at the map because I'm getting fired at, but yeah, you could also look on the map and see that river that ran past there and make a note of your location. I'm just going to act like they didn't see me and keep running. Now, I do want to make a note really quick, as I'm getting shot at, it's probably best not to run through an open field. I would highly recommend against it, especially the closer you get to enemy-controlled locations. I'm very visible, and being visible is breaking rule number 1 of trying to avoid getting in contact. My lord. Now, just to avoid dying, just in case, I should have done this sooner, but I'm going to get into some cover. Or sorry, concealment. Concealment and cover. There's some trees here. Concealment conceals your location, and cover provides cover. So it's hard cover, like trees, rocks, walls, that sort of thing. Concealment is grass and netting and things that just mask your location. Both can be very useful, especially if you're engaging in PvP. But the AI break contact once they can't see you, so. Now I'm just gonna keep sticking to these woods for now, and I'm pretty confident in the direction I'm going, but if you ever need to, like I said, just pull out your compass and adjust. And since I'm going to a location that's a little bit larger, like Coastal Base Morton, I don't necessarily need to be really specific when it comes to my heading. I just need to know that I'm going in the right direction and that I'm on track. Another thing to make note of when you're on foot is significant changes in elevation. So if there was a large hill in front of me, I could use that as a navigation point or landmark. But, you know, it's been pretty gradual so far, so I haven't really had a chance to do it. Also, it's good to keep in mind that the more left or right you get from your objective, the more you would have to adjust your heading or the degree that you're running. But since I'm going to basically a town, I shouldn't need to adjust it too much. So I'm just going to continue running south until I can see the town, and then I don't need my compass anymore. Now, since I have a decent bit of map knowledge, I'm already starting to piece together where I am, just due to that massive hill there, and the coast being just on the horizon. Oh, my lord. Map knowledge don't teach me that, though. So since I kind of have an idea of where I am going to get into some concealment here and break contact with those AI. Now that I've got some concealment from that, this would be a good time to teach you how to navigate by using the edge of woods. So my last position was here. I ran directly south, and so I'm probably somewhere right here because there's a group of buildings, which is where those AI are shooting at me from. I just passed over a paved road and a telephone line, so I'm right about here-ish. So if I wanted to, I could keep the edge of this forest in sight and just travel directly south, making sure that I'm keeping in line with that. And once I get to about here, I could always hug that edge of the forest until I get to this point, and then I can know just straight south is Morton. But honestly, what I'm going to do is instead of using the trees to navigate, I'm going to head east to this footpath and head south to that dirt road. So now, since I'm already oriented with what south is, I know east is in this direction, but if you need to, you can always pull out your compass, orient yourself with south, and then look east and head in that direction. And for somebody who's not brand new with navigating, you can head southeast, and then you'll hit that footpath a little bit further down, instead of heading east and then having to run south for that. So I come across this footpath, so I know I can follow it south and get to Morton, basically. Now I just lost HQ radio signal, and in the future I'm going to be doing a series of videos on conflict and how to play the game, and the radio signal will definitely be gone over in that video. So now that I'm here, I can basically see Coastal Base Morton. There are some buildings in the way, but right there is the main tent for Coastal Base Morton. Before you get to an objective, it's probably a good idea to do some scouting with your binoculars, but I'm going there to die because that's my objective of getting to that location. There's no strategic reason for me to actually get this objective as it's outside of our radio range, but I just picked this objective because it was a far distance to run through all of that. Another thing you could use while navigating are tall landmarks, so church steeples, towers, I don't know, I think there's one over there, I don't know. Church steeples, towers, lighthouses, things that are tall that you can see from a distance are really good landmarks to use for navigating, finding your exact location, and just using as a landmark in general. Now, I ran a decent distance, and ideally you would want to get a vehicle, so I highly recommend searching towns and the roadways for vehicles, because I got all the way here, and look at that, I found a vehicle. But we don't need vehicles. We're Bohemia vets. We know how to run a couple clicks and not get bored, or at least not get bored to death. F11. If you know, you know. And now that I'm here, it's controlled by Russians, so I'm gonna call that the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned some new tips and tricks here, and I hope you learned how to navigate on foot. If you did enjoy the video, and if you did learn a couple of tips or just how to navigate a little bit better, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your favorite part of this video. The next video is going to be how to navigate while driving, so it's going to be a lot about following roads and what landmarks to look out for while you're in a road vehicle. Feel free to check out a couple of my other videos. There are some neat tips, tricks, and some funny moments already up on this channel here, and feel free to check out my TikTok at IglooEyes9. But yeah, until the next one, peace!